Hello and welcome back to another episode of the best of something insert here in weightlifting. Today we're going to do squats, and we're going to do squats, particularly back squats, because Zack did a back squat episode and a lot of people liked it. And I watched that episode and I thought to myself, wow, I like this. But also there are lots of really good back squats that you have not put on here. So that's what I've done today. Through my 9 years involved in weightlifting, I've racked my brains, I've gone through the history of my history online and found all of the best squats that I think everybody needs to know about in weightlifting. Now, I haven't included the Shakarovs, the Botevs, the Mark Symes because they were in Zack's videos. In fact, actually, if you want to see, I did the most meta video ever. I reacted to Zack reacting to squats on the Weightlifting House Patreon, and it's become my new favorite thing, reacting to Zack. Let's look at now my opinion on some of the best back squats ever. If you guys like this, I'll do a front squat episode too. Alright, so we're going to kick things off with the big fella from the USA, Shane Hamman. He's got the heaviest American snatch and clean and jerk ever. And now this one's actually kind of cheeky because he was a powerlifter when he did this. He was a powerlifter, then he became a weightlifter. But as a very young powerlifter, he back squatted 986 pounds. That is 447 kilos. It is, to my knowledge, the heaviest squat on camera of a weightlifter ever. Okay, so this is it. And to be honest, you can kind of tell just watching this lift that he was gonna be a powerlifter. Like, he's got the bar in a low bar position, but really positionally in terms of his torso and his legs, this is a high bar squat. Very fast, dive bombs it. He weighed around 400 pounds. He could do a standing dunk on a 10-foot rim at 5'8", I believe he was. That's how freakishly athletic Shane was. Let's watch that one more time. Unbelievable. I don't know if there's a weightlifter that squatted more than that. There are rumors of them, but nothing on video. Also, there's a really good Easter egg in this video of the guy with the most sassy and mobile hips in the game. Let me just find it for you all. Yeah, this is it. This is it. Watch this. Look at this guy. One more time. Oh, you just got to do it for the culture. Here he comes. Immortalized on Shane Hamman's squat record. Okay, next we got a couple from my boy Sohrab Moradi, the Iranian 94 kilo Olympic champion, world record holder in the snatch, clean and jerk and total, in the 96 kilo category, world record holder in the snatch and total also. And we have two lifts, one of him as an 85 before he was even particularly a great weightlifter. This sort of just shows his potential in terms of his strength, and then one as a 94. Okay, so this, believe it or not, is 85 kilo Sohrab Moradi with 310 kilos for and I think he pauses it, or at least he sort of double bounces it. Gets a double bounce. That's kind of close to a pause, and then up with it. And just look how well he stays in his quads. I mean, he gets this position here, normally where the hips kick back, and then pushes the knees forward again, just stays right there in the quads, and comes straight up through. One more time. Now 310 at 85. What's the IPF world record? Because he basically paused that way below parallel. Did he even have a belt on? I'm not sure. So we're on the IPF Men's Classic Open. Squat 83 is 313. So this is 3 kilos under that. He probably weighed closer to 90 though. So the 93 is 331. So he's not at world record level, but he's not too far off considering the type of squat he did. And then next from Sohrab, a video that I posted a long time ago at 94. So this was prior to 2016 in Rio. He hit this 315 kilo back squat, and he has done more. We've seen him do 320, but the speed of this one I thought made it deserve the spot. There we go, a little bit of a hip shift. You tend to see hip shifts in weightlifters who are a little bit more leggy than hippie. Instead of shifting the hips backwards because they really don't want to load their spine because they've got such a long spine. The moment arm is too long, they just tend to shift ever so slightly to the side. You see it in Ilya, you see it in Naim Suleimanoglu, you see it in Amyon Chol, and you see it in Sohrab Moradi, especially when they get pinned on heavy cleans and then try and get up. A lot of hip shift. Okay, so next we have Tatiana Kasharina, who is the greatest weightlifter of all time in terms of Sinclair. She's got the #1 despite also being a super heavyweight. And I filmed this from her back in 2019 at the World Championships. It's a 255 kilo back squat double. In actual fact, let's just watch the 230 from the set before. 1, 2, touch and go double, very easy. This is a 20 kilo barbell. So this is 255 kilos. And probably the strongest woman to have ever walked planet Earth. I know there'll be people from other strength sports who maybe disagree. I'd happily have a conversation about it. I believe that she probably is the strongest ever. Supposedly she's doubled 285 in the past. I also have a video of her here squatting 200 kilos for multiple sets of 8. And just the ease with it, she's able to stand up that. I mean, she's also snatched 155 kilos, clean and jerked 193, which are by far the heaviest snatch and clean and jerk by a woman ever. Of course, she has been popped, but if we're just talking about general strength of a weightlifter, regardless of what they've done, she certainly is number one. Okay, next, how could we have Sohrab Moradi without having his rival Tian Tao? They've only really been rivals for a couple of years, and they've actually really only competed against each other 2018 world champs, but they've been in separate categories. But we see them as rivals, particularly in leg strength. So I have 2 lifts, both though from Tian as an 85 rather than as a 96. The first is Tian, 85 kilo, pause squatting 300 kilos. So of course we saw Sohrab at 85 doing 310. He had a little bit of a double bounce though. This from Tian Tao, certainly a stronger pause and probably faster up also, which is just remarkable. What is that? That's 90, 120, 150, 70, 90. That was a 200 kilo power clean and jerk as well. Let's see that. And then let's look at his 320 kilo squat as an 85. He's done more than this at 96. He's seen him do 321, but just doing this at 85 is clearly the more superior lift. Does he have a belt on? Let's see that again. So I don't think he has a belt on, and those sleeves are sort of 3mm, just cotton sleeves. They're not really there to provide any support, just warmth. So at that point, he's, 10 kilos under the world record or something like that. So that's actually a pretty incredible lift from him. Also, here's a bonus Lu. What's that? 180, 210, 240, 260. 260 single. One more time. Now, I put more Lu in, but like I said, Zack put Lu in the last one, so not going to do that. Okay, next, and I really debated whether or not to even put this lift in because she is now a 2-time popped weightlifter. Once Bulgarian, then Azerbaijani, and potentially now she's going to move back to Bulgaria. It's Boyank Kostova. Now, no doubt she's one of the most drugged up weightlifters we've seen, but also no doubt that whilst drugged up, she hits some of the biggest squats ever. And if we're just looking at the biggest squats ever, as Zack did, then we have to kind of include her. So here she is, 210 kilos. She weighed around 58 kilos in body weight at this time. This must be close to a world record. Let's see. World record 178 kilos for her body weight. She's squatting more than the 76 kilo category. And also, I totally understand the IPF is drug tested. She failed drug tests in the IWF. I know that IPF doesn't necessarily remain totally clean, but even so, I get that this isn't quite a fair comparison. But let's just watch this 210. This is probably peak strength from a woman of her size possible. Oh, she doubles it. I didn't even realize that. Also, in a similar session, she hit an enormous front squat, but I'll save that for the front squat video. Okay, next we have what some people might... I guess a lot of people have described this as the most impressive display of strength ever. It's 47 kilo Wei Ling from Taiwan, Chinese Taipei, whatever you want to call it. 210 kilos in the back squat. Now, I believe that Wei Ling was originally a weightlifter and then became a powerlifter after. I'd like to claim her as one of our own. I'm not totally sure, but I'm pretty sure she was a weightlifter first, so I'm going to include this. This is one of the most incredible displays of strength. I mean, not only is it over 4 times body? It's over 4 times body weight, of course. It's like 4.5 times body weight. But just the way that this lift happens, she tries to walk it out. She doesn't find balance. She goes back and forth with it. And eventually she makes the lift. Is amazing. She's wobbling, starting to black out. They put it back in. She wants to go again. She just unracks it. They're not ready. Wobbling again. Has to put it back. I just can't understand how so much or so little muscle mass can produce so much force. So here we are, third attempt. She's wobbling, but finally she manages to brace. Just pushes the knees forward. It's so in the quads. And somehow manages it. That might be the most impressive squat out of all of these by some way. And this is now Liao Hui, 69 kilo weightlifter, the highest ranked Chinese weightlifter ever by Sinclair, with a very poorly filmed but somewhat believable 275 kilo back squat. So we can't see the bottom half, but that's clearly a deep, fast back squat. One more time. In fact, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 20s, that's 100, 110, 125, 250, 270 with the bar, 275 with the 2.5. Let's watch it again. Now, I imagine his best ever was around 280. You know, we've seen Liao Hui hit 260, 270, 280 loads of times. Supposedly, at least this is what he said to me in the interview I did with him, his best ever back squat was 305 and his best front was 270. If we had those on camera, they would definitely be in this. In fact, there he is in the background right now, and there's Tian. So how does 275 look compared to the IPF world records? So the 66 kilo world record is 263. The 74 is 283. So basically exactly halfway between. So Liao Hui is bang on, I guess, the world record back squat. And for someone who obviously prioritizes the back squat and is genetically gifted and is literally the 1 out of 1.5 billion Chinese people who's probably best suited to do this, it is still impressive that he's able to equal these IPF world records. I know it's not tested and all of these sorts of things, but still pretty remarkable. Okay, next we have everybody's favorite Chinese Taipei 59 kilo lifter. We have Kuo Hsing Chun. She is, of course, the world record holder in the snatch, clean and jerk total in weightlifting. Clean and jerked 142 kilos, I believe, back in, I want to say 2017 at it was a competition in her country, but even so. This is 200 kilos at 59 kilos in body weight, and she's not the kind of lifter who tends to weigh in heavy. If she ever does compete at 64, she weighs around 60.5, so I doubt she's anything over 61 kilos at this point. So this is a 3.3 times body weight squat. Let's watch it one more time. It's a real grind. You could maybe make a case that the spotters touch the bar. I'm not totally sure. Yeah, guy on the right, maybe. And then finally, you kind of got to include Clarence to some degree. I know he's not competing in weightlifting, but he has done in the past. I don't really care what people say. I'm pretty sure he counts as a weightlifter. I think it's just getting into semantics if you said that he's currently not, because he doesn't currently compete. I haven't competed in a year. Maybe I'm not a weightlifter though. That's maybe a fair argument to make. But here he is doing a 300 kilo paused ATG back squat, 100% raw. That's no sleeves, no wraps, no belt, nothing. I remember when this video came out, he'd been, on YouTube for a while, then he disappeared and he returned with this 160, I think it was a 160 power snatch, and not too long after he posted this, and it somewhat broke the internet in the weightlifting world.
I'm friends with Clarence, okay? I don't need his clout. I don't need his clout.
And I think when Clarence did this, I think he would have said that he was a 94 kilo weightlifter but was weighing heavy, so I imagine he was somewhere around 97, 98. So again, over 3 times body weight with a pause, totally raw. This is incredibly impressive. He's then gone on to do more. I mean, he's done, I think 310 is the most he's done for a pause back squat, or 306. It's one of the two. And Clarence, unlike some of the other weightlifters, he's very happy to favor his back. Got an incredibly strong back. Strong legs, obviously, but instead of staying shifted in the legs, he's more than happy to sort of let the hips rise, drop at the chest, fold a little bit, and then use all of that posterior muscle mass to then open up in the final bit of leverage. Let's watch that one more time. Damn. And then just because I feel like we kind of got to do it, we've got my boy Aishiro Murakami, the tank Murakami, the vibrating master himself. Just can barely walk the weights out because they're shaking so much. So this was a personal record. I think eventually the Federation bought him a powerlifting bar because he was struggling so much to hit his top sets of squats. Let me just watch that walkout again. Okay, here's the walkout. Once those bars start oscillating, there's very little you can do. In fact, what it tends to be is that he stops the bar from oscillating, he just begins oscillating under the bar. So he's the one moving and the bar stays still. Alright, let's do one more. This is his 365 personal record. This is 5 kilos of what he did in the last video. Can't remember if he stabilizes this one better. Oh, that's a lot better. And so vertical, just all in the legs. Remarkable. There we go. There's the oscillating brain technique that he uses. Guys, hope you enjoyed that episode. Like I said, I did a meta reaction to Zack reacting to squats. That's available on Patreon. If you like this, I'll do another one with front squats. I've already got all the lifts ready to go. I'll post it if you guys enjoyed this sort of video. Appreciate you all tuning in. Make sure you grab your tie-dye splash Weightlifting House t-shirts at weightliftinghouse.com, and I'll catch you all next week.